Ladies and gentlemen, people, Neanderthals, subhumans, superhumans, people of the interwebs, civilians, welcome to the Jeff Hilliard Show. This is really exciting. I have a friend of mine here, comedian, writer. He's done some directing. I think he's worked as an actor. Doug Perkins.
Oh yeah, good to be here. This is a good setup.
This is legit.
I've been doing mainly podcasts via Zoom. I feel like you're outdoing me.
You feel you've arrived? Was everyone?
Yes, I feel like I've arrived. Everyone's
competitive. Oh, you're doing way more than I am. I got nothing going on, kid. Got nothing going on. Doug is a lovely fella. He is a fellow mullet person. He's working on his mullet. It's coming in.
I got mine cut from the same guy this time.
Cole.
Because my regular mullet person disappeared. I'm trying to solve that mystery.
Cole is the best.
Yeah,
Cole.
He was really good.
Proper barbershop. Good. Head down there if you need to get a nice mullet.
And he made me feel secure that I wasn't losing my hair as quickly as I thought I was.
Nice. He's got a good bedside manner.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's fine. I've gone to several guys there, but then he became like he really went for it. And this one guy was so great because I came there with I have these serial killer glasses, not the ones I have on now, but these other ones, like the Jeffrey Dahmer specials. And the dude was like, he thought it was like the greatest fucking thing ever. I was like, I need to get a mullet. And he was like the most. He goes, dude, you don't know how awesome this is. He goes,
right. Yeah.
He goes, please be a serial killer.
Well, you got to live up to it.
Yeah. He goes, this would be like this is so great. I forgot to turn off the AC. As we're going, Doug, where are you from originally?
I was gonna offer myself up. You can kill me as your first victim. On your way to serial killing, and then everyone you have on the podcast. I kill every single person. And that's the end of the podcast. But people, you're a jokester, so they think it's just like movie magic.
Part of the stick.
So where am I from originally? Oh,
yeah. Where'd you grow up, Doug?
I grew up in a town called Kennewick, Washington.
Oh, up north.
Part of the Tri-Cities. It's in eastern Washington.
That's like serial killer central. There's got to be some serial killers up there, right?
I remember growing up, there was this boogeyman named Wesley Allen Dodd who murdered and did some other things to some children. Ooh. And was hanged at Walla Walla Penitentiary.
Oh, nice. Like the penitentiary guys, they were like, fuck you.
Yeah, they were hanging people back then. And they stopped
in the
hanging.
70s?
80s, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The government hanged them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's a cheap way to off someone, because if they do when they inject you and do all that sort of stuff, or the electric chair, I think it's a little bit more expensive.
I think the hanging is rather quick too, because they do all the proper equations to make sure your neck just snaps right away. And they stopped doing the hangings because there was this really fat guy that they were going to hang, and there was no way for him to be safely hanged without his head popping off. Ooh. And they determined that was cruel and unusual punishment. Ooh. And they switched to lethal injection.
Plus, people have to witness it.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine if that was like your job. You had to your job was to witness the death.
So reporters have to be there too.
Now you were a kid growing up in in Washington.
In Walla Walla State Penitentiary.
In the penitentiary.
Yeah.
Your dad was a warden.
That's right. My mom, was a guard.
And they met there. That's good.
No, I just grew up in a very normal situation with a mom and a dad and two sisters, and my dad worked for the nuclear plant in the Tri-Cities.
Oh, your dad, he's a rocket scientist.
More
nuclear
on the budget side, I believe. But
he's putting the money together. Oh, that's a good gig.
Yeah.
If you had like a military industrial complex gig, they probably have the numbers are pretty funny.
Right. Yeah. You shift a lot of. Yeah.
Does your dad ever? Did he ever like upgrade really fast? Like get like all of a sudden has a new car, you have a new house. Like after.
No, he did all that recently after everyone had moved out. So yeah,
that's good.
Maybe he got a big payout.
I figured like on the September 10th, and I heard like Donald Rumsfeld was like, the Pentagon, we have $2.5 trillion. We just don't know where it went.
Yeah, it's like in Goodfellas when they're like, take the fur coat back, you idiot. Rumsfeld's driving around in a new Corvette.
Yeah.
September 12th.
Doing the numbers. That's great. So your dad's good with numbers. What's your mom doing? Is she a house mom?
She was, and then she became a substitute teacher.
Oh, nice.
But she was like omnipresent at all of our schools. She was like the PTA president.
Oh shit, she was
at the school, like K through whatever, 8th grade. And then she became a substitute teacher when I got into high school and was like always at my high school.
Oh, it's brutal. Oh my God. How did you survive this? Now, what kind of kid were you? You were a good kid?
I was I was a relatively good kid.
You weren't hanging out with like the people with loose morals that lived fast lives?
Well, yeah.
People had substance abuse problems?
We had flexible morals.
Flexible?
I developed the substance abuse problems later in life.
You weren't hanging out with the stoners, the metal?
No, like the kids I hung out with, we all just like hung out at each other's houses and rented movies and watched movies a lot. And
that's the life, Doug.
Yeah, it was.
Video games? Did you do the video game thing as well?
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't call myself a gamer back then. Like, that's a weird thing.
Now it's a serious sport.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to like be playing Mario and call yourself a gamer. It's like, no, I just got really good at Mario because I was bored.
That's good. You got to get into Mario.
Yeah.
Video games were a big deal when I was a kid. I remember playing Asteroids, Space Invaders, like really little.
Yeah.
And then you kind of grow out of that. But the games now I think are so good. These kids are basically, it's the life. But the people in their 20s now are like forever 12 years old. I don't think they're ever like they don't ever want to move out of their house. They don't want to get they don't want to have a driver's license.
Yeah, my niece who is 18 does not have her driver's license. I find that weird.
I don't know about you, but when our whole thing was like you want to get to the point where you're 16 where you could drive.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
That was like the freedom.
Yeah. Like on my birthday, I took the driver's test.
Yeah, it was like you counted down the days.
Yeah.
And now I feel really out of touch. Do you feel out of touch with the young folks?
Yes, but not in the same way that I think my parents were out of touch with the young folks. I mean, I'm not married. I don't have kids. I have a lot of time on my hands to like see new movies, listen to new music. But as far as like TikTok goes, I have no clue what's going on with TikTok.
You're not pumping out TikToks every day?
Or YouTube streamers So I'm not up to date with everything, but I'm somewhat plugged into pop culture, I would say.
I think when I got to about my mid-30s is when I really started not knowing. I just started not relating as much, and now I'm 48 now, so now it's like I have no idea. But that's part of what my podcast is to try. I'm trying to nail a midlife crisis, and part of this is trying to relate to what the youth culture is, which is full-blown narcissistic self-obsession is the norm, and to go on about yourself. The one thing I'm trying to get into is talking about how I'm the greatest. I haven't. So I have a problem where I have to fake the self-esteem. But that's how we get back to that. I am one of the most brilliant, great, creative entertainers the world's ever seen.
That's correct.
Kind of like the Kanye West. Did you see Kanye West on Joe Rogan where God told him he's supposed to be the leader of the free world?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Well, it's fake it till you make it sort of mentality. You got to, if you just walk around and let everyone know how great you are.
All day long, look at me.
Because I don't think Hollywood is necessarily a meritocracy where the people who are the most talented get to the top, you know?
I'm striving for mediocrity, dude. If I can get to mediocrity.
Yeah, me too.
If I can just get to mediocrity.
I think talent alone can get you a certain distance, but you have to be like unabashedly self-promotional.
Well, you need to be have a real unfortunate situation. The more unfortunate situation you are, could be helpful.
Oh, like growing up?
Well, you could be like, if you fit into the identity politics stuff, let's say like you were like an albino, transgendered,
right. Yeah.
Muslim, something that's like so unique. Like you're the only person, like the one of a kind person that no one's ever seen this before.
Right.
And you were like an activist, you were a political activist, you're a plus size model that does poetry, and then you do like a really amazing impersonation of Donald Trump on TikTok with dance moves. And then you throw some tap dancing in there with some nice costuming. You would be person is going to be television deal.
What could we do? Like what are our options? It's hard to get there.
I'm trying to focus on like my real small niche. My friend was telling me I'm a micro influencer, which I really like.
Yeah.
The micro. I'm just trying to make a few more songs and music videos. Hopefully I can act in a few more movies. I'm hoping if I get real lucky, I could get on some television show, kind of like Succession, where they let them improv and stuff.
Right.
Something that to me would be like the pinnacle of, and then I could keep making my songs and videos. And the podcast is like basically a telethon. I'm hoping some very wealthy person will just sign up for my Patreon.
Oh, right. Yeah. And for the $50
well, I have one
day.
I have one that's $299 where I'll be
a month.
Yeah, a month. And what it is I'm your midlife crisis coach. I'm the first and only. I'm the pioneer as midlife crisis coach.
I feel like this year is sort of bringing up midlife crisis type things for me.
Yeah.
Like I go between wanting to just completely throw my hands up in the air and change careers and like become a special education teacher.
Wow.
Like that's my backup plan, or like stick with it. But I go back and forth like many times a day. In
college, I would volunteer for the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Playing basketball.
I've done that.
And it was great because the coaches were like lunatics and the kids are having fun. And like, I'm officiating. Like, how am I calling like foul and travel? Like they're just running around throwing the ball and they're screaming at me to like, and I'm in college, so I'm very hungover, and I'm just looking at them going like, what are we doing here? Like, how am I calling like a travel on the dude with this fucking kid helmet? I'm just like excited they're throwing the ball and hitting the backboard.
Right. I was surprised by the level of athleticism that I saw at the Special Olympics. And my friends and I also were the trophy presentation announcers at the bowling Special Olympics tournament.
Oh my God, that's
Southern
a great
California.
Gig.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Amazing.
It was really fun.
I worked I've worked every single job in Los Angeles, and I went through a phase where I had like an hour and a half of stand-up material, and I wanted to figure out how to present it to the world. And so I thought it'd be really funny. A friend of mine suggested that I become a travel guide, like those tour things. And so I was like, I'm gonna become a travel guide, and then I'm gonna get their whole thing down, and then I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna put an act in there.
Yeah.
So I got a job working as a Starline tour, and one of the best fucking moments I had was I had a whole I did a tour for all these special needs, like kind of like they weren't not little kids but younger, and they all knew all of the celebrities. They knew all the movies. It was one of the most pleasant, beautiful experiences I've ever had. They have so much joy in their eyes, and it makes you wish like if I could go through life different. I think that's the way to go. Like special needs, like it's like being like a dog where everything's happy. Like, oh my God, my owner's home. Oh my God, there's,
right. Yeah.
Just constantly joy. Everything's exciting.
Yeah. It definitely gives you shifts in perspective.
Yeah.
Every time you surround yourself with that. It's pretty amazing.
Figuring life out. So how did you
I was just going to bring up this, I was searching podcasts earlier today. And there's this podcast called The Multi-Orgasmic Mama. You should have her on. With Tilly Storm.
Oh my God. It's all about the OnlyFans page. It's the pornification of the United States. Everyone has an OnlyFans page. And I think it's like if you're a good dad right now, you need to tell your daughter how brave she is and how courageous she is, that she has an OnlyFans page, and you need to subscribe to it, give her money, and then get all of your friends to check out your daughter's OnlyFans page. What the fuck?
I have a Only Dan's page for guys named Dan.
And you have to be,
my dick.
You can only be Dan. I had someone, I talked about this earlier, I had a lady send me a Patreon it was about female empowerment, and it was basically her photographing her vagina, and you would get one a month or something for $5. Mm-hmm. And it was all about female empowerment. It's dead serious though, and I was just like, and I was thinking about the male version of that. If I was sending that to someone once a month, I'm going to send you my art directed flaccid. Sometimes it's semi, sometimes it's fully erect.
I mean, it's better than driving an Uber.
Yeah. Yeah, check out my ballsack.com. If people were demanding it, I mean, at this point, I'm not above anything.
Balls only.
Yeah, just only show the balls. Okay, so when you were a kid, what did you want to be? Do you want to be a special ed teacher back then?
No. I always wanted to work in movies, but as I'm discovering, I think that takes a greater level of ambition or motivation than I have.
Like, what part of the movies did you want to be a part of?
Well, I just remember seeing, I'd rent a lot of horror movies from Crazy Mike's Video. And
that's a great name, Crazy Mike's Videos.
Yeah. And it was a Northwest chain, I think. But
did he have commercials? Was he throwing?
No,
because that would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. I just remember thinking when you see a bad horror movie or even a mediocre horror movie, thinking I could write one of those that would be just as entertaining as this.
I think it's about that's the lowest bar of stuff you can do and that's easy. Yeah. You could be a horror film all day long.
For sure. But the hard part for me is all the having to find the money. You
gotta have you gotta get a script,
right?
And you gotta get a bunch of celebrities,
right? That's right. Yeah.
And all these actors, they're desperate for anything. It's even if it's halfway decent, bam.
Okay.
You gotta get yourself.
This is motivating.
A transgendered
albino
director that no one's ever heard. They don't even have to know how to direct. They're gonna be your beard. They just have to show up, and they do all the FaceTime stuff, which is actually perfect. You don't want to deal with all that stuff anyway. You get a partner like that.
Yeah,
that's the hustle.
Like the George W. Bush to the Dick Cheney.
Yeah. You get a face. You gotta get the face of the project, and you got to find the most misfortunate situation with the best story.
Oh,
hopefully an aspiring. Hopefully the director guy is an aspiring actor. So you can give him a cameo in there as well. He gets to be a director, and he can get up there and make him as eccentric as possible, and have him going on about all the inspiration behind the film. It'd actually be a lot of fun. You know what I mean? The whole
but then you have to write that story for that person. It's double the work.
Well, you're just talking through them, but you're just making it more ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
He's here. It could be a muse.
Sure.
Yeah. So you wanted to do something in the films.
Yeah.
But it's the ambition of now you've worked,
Yeah, I've worked in Hollywood for 18 years.
Yes.
Doing random, lots of hidden camera prank shows.
Well, how did you get from Washington to here? Did you go to college?
I went to Washington State University.
Well, that's nice.
For 5.5 years.
What did you study? I
studied television production and creative writing.
Oh my God, you're destined. You had a game plan.
I had a game plan.
What was college like?
The college was awesome. College is the most fun. I recommend going to college.
Were you making student films and stuff?
Yeah, there was a student-run television station that we made shows for, and there was a student-run radio station that I worked at as well. And so we would make shows and little sketches and movies. We made a movie called Saving Clark Del Monte. It was originally called Over the Top 2, Tickets to Paradise. But we changed the title for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Nice. What was this movie about?
It was about a heroin addict who was arrested for having Jim Croce CDs, and then he went to prison where he met some friends. Then they escaped from prison and started a prison-themed restaurant.
So this is like a very serious drama.
Yeah.
Kind of like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, more or less. It's based on a true story.
It's so much. They enjoyed the time when they had meals that they wanted to recreate that.
Yeah, and Jesus is in it as well, and he was a used car salesman.
That makes sense.
Who worked at Jesus Chrysler Ford Mercury. Yeah. So then I had an internship after Washington State here in Los Angeles at the Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn.
Oh my goodness! You know, I did 3 showcases for them.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then I ended up. I wanted to be on the Jimmy Kimmel Show because I knew that Kilborn was out on the way out.
Yeah.
And the guy who booked it. So I pitched myself to the guy, and he's like, Jeff, I can't. He's like, I know you're really funny, but I can't even look at you unless you're a minority, unless you're like a gay or female. And this is like in 2001, 2002, and I was just kind of going like, I was like, what am I even doing, right? And so then I got bronchitis.
Okay.
And I was supposed to do my final showcase.
Bronchitis, isn't it? That's not a diversity thing.
No, it didn't help. I wish it would. No, I couldn't talk. We were producing a show in Las Vegas. I got really sick. I could barely talk, and I kept coughing. I would say 2 words and just start coughing. So I'm like, hey, can I reschedule the final showcase? Then the guy who booked it ends up getting a job working for like a online dating app.
Uh-huh.
And so, so basically I did the 3 showcases like it's going to happen to... So you got to send your tape into the new guy. And the new guy was like, I was like just back at the pile. Like it was.
For stand-up?
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
I think at Kilborn?
Yeah.
I think I know who became that guy. Matt Harowitz. Do you know him?
Yeah. Was it Matt? Was he a stand-up comic?
Yeah. But he was also like the writer's assistant at the time.
This would have been before Matt.
Okay. And then Matt became that guy eventually. Yeah.
I loved it. Dude, he's hilarious.
Yeah,
he has that one joke where he's like, when you see a girl that's just so attractive, and you're like, "Fuck off!" Like you're like, God, you know what I mean? Because there's no chance at all. It's like the ultimate rejection.
Yeah,
I don't remember the actual beats of the jokes, but that was basically the.
Yeah, I remember him having a joke about his height and how uncomfortable it was to get hugs from male friends because his head would just go in their chest every time. That
guy's great. So what was it like working at Kilborn? I know a couple other people that work there too.
It was really, it was a great entry to Hollywood. I met a lot of people that I still work with and am still friends with. So that was great.
Wait, Kilborn was, then it became, who did come after Kilborn?
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah, Kilborn was like the guy that was on the Daily Show that was kind of like a frat guy. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he's
they tried to do some movie
unique
stuff. Yeah, I could feel you could tell he was on his way out, and I felt Jimmy Kimmel was going to be like the thing, and I was like, if I won my first stand-up set, which never happened, to be on the Kilborn show. And then I kind of, after like that, I was like getting a little bit like, what am I fucking doing?
Yeah.
This is...
But I somehow got roped into doing warm-up comedy at the Kilborn show.
That's great.
Because
it's good money. They didn't pay you. They totally screwed you.
No, they pay. They have to. It's a union deal. It was with AFTRA at the time.
Okay, so you got an internship there because of like obviously that great movie, which was...
Well, no, because my good friend Kip, who I do a podcast with now.
Kip Mattson?
Yeah.
I know Kip.
Oh.
From years ago.
Really?
Yeah. I used to come down and do my stand-up.
Yeah, we were roommates in college.
Oh, wow.
And that's how... And so, we're really close friends, and we have.
That's right. He worked
together.
on Kilborn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He had an internship the semester before me, and he put in a word for me, and I got the internship.
That's
the next
amazing.
Semester.
So that's a great gig, right? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was really fun. But it was so nerve-wracking. I was so nervous doing the warm-up stuff. I would go into the green room and like chug 3 Heinekens before going.
So
out.
Wait, now let me ask you this: now, have you done stand-up before?
Just like a handful of open mics, and somehow like one of the writers or someone it might have been Matt Harowitz, like recommended, like, oh, Doug does stand up, and got me in there. But I only did it probably like 10 to 12 times, and then Craig Kilborn fired me.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And it was really funny because he was upset there wasn't enough energy for the main guest, and the main guest that day, I believe, was Janice Dickinson. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Sure.
I used to see her at the gym. She's like, dude, she had like that fucking like dude energy where she'd knock someone out. Like she's like,
I think
I don't want to fuck with that.
Is she the one who has a sister who's also famous?
I don't know. She was like she'll tell you she's the very first supermodel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I did my my Good Life music video had came out, and I was at like a Hollywood party, and this producer was introduced me to everyone as like I'm some sort of genius or whatever, and I remember her fucking full on like giving me like the pitch of her thing,
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, this is so surreal. This is so ridiculous. This is the great thing about Hollywood is you just go into these fucking weird environments and just meet all these funny characters. So that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So you didn't have enough energy for the Janice Dickinson.
Yeah, and I just overall did not have enough energy to be a warm-up comedian.
Yeah, I don't see the warm-up has like a hackier jump around type thing. Like you're almost shooting T-shirts out into the crowd.
Yeah, I wish I had a T-shirt cannon. I would have excelled. But if I had to do it all over again, I would be able to do a much better job. But yeah, I was a mess.
But yeah, that's a good gig. So okay, you had the internship, you were doing that, and then they got canned. Like you were done. Like you were.
Yeah. But that's when I started being a production assistant on that show Scare Tactics, which I ended up working on for years and years.
Okay, and Scare Tactics, I think that was where they do like the really scary pranks, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they do one like in a coffee shop that like the wall changed?
No, that was a guerrilla marketing thing for movie Carrie.
That's right.
The remake of Carrie, I believe.
I'm not so good with all the prank shows. I watched Jamie Kennedy Experience.
Oh yeah, that was
which
good.
Was fucking funny. Where he was like pretend to be a transgender, and he's getting married, and he's like the person he's married. The family doesn't know, and they're just like,
I don't remember.
Oh my god, it's one of the best. So good.
But he did one too. That was great, where a boyfriend proposed to his girlfriend at like halftime of a sold-out basketball game, and she said no, which had never been done. That was pretty good. No, this one was like, it was hosted by Shannon Doherty, and then after that, Stephen Baldwin, then Tracy Morgan, Murderers Row.
That's great.
It was just, we just would put people in situations where they thought they were going to die, more or less, or get abducted by aliens, or beat up by Bigfoot.
Oh my god!
It was really fun though, because I worked with a bunch of friends I went to college with, and yeah, it was a good experience. But like, I'm still pranking people.
You've been doing that. You've been in the prank world for a long time.
Forever. Yeah.
But wouldn't that be the perfect setup to be like a horror film person? Because there is an element of suspense and pranking going on, right?
Yeah, because a lot of times you're sort of pranking the audience in a way.
Why isn't that you do a horror film on a prank show?
Oh,
pranks just go. They went to you to film it.
There is one outline, where like a prank goes wrong and you really embarrass someone, and then they come back to.
Yeah, let me show you the prank.
Yeah.
Thought you were real cute with this prank.
Kill everyone.
Jason, that's great. So you're pranking. You're doing stand up.
I also was a sound mixer for several years.
Really?
On like Discovery shows, where either home remodel shows, or I worked on Deadliest Catch, and I worked on a show called The Alaska Experiment.
As a sound mixer?
Yeah.
The Deadliest Catch is when they're in Alaska doing that like crazy fishing.
Crab fishing, on a boat. But I wasn't on the boats. I was just on the land.
If you were like, they need the sound mixer on the ship. Dude, that show is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it's like one of the most dangerous jobs you can have, I think, right?
Yeah, supposedly. I really like that show. Still, it's pretty good. I would never want to do that job.
I mean, how much money are you making?
I think the captains could do pretty well, depending on whatever the quota is they're given.
How much they crab they bring in.
Yeah. But the deckhands, it's all dependent on that quota as well, and you don't make as much. But you can make up to like $100,000, I would think,
probably, right,
on a really successful boat.
There's probably no more fish in the ocean anyway. It's probably a dying.
Yeah, they're getting
gig.
They're scraping the bottom for crabs.
It's tough out there. So how did you get into sound mixing?
Well, I just
when I was a
PA on Scare Tactics, I learned how to do the sound setup because I noticed the sound person was probably doing the least amount of work.
That's where you want to be.
But that wasn't the case really. Like once I learned how to do all of it, there was a lot of work involved. But I just wanted to do something that brought in a little more money, where I could also have time off to pursue writing and stuff. And sound gives you a lot of flexibility because you're a day hire pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the boom guy, that's a good gig to have. If you have your
own,
you have like your own sound thing.
Yeah.
Your own sound setup. That's if I was going to do it over again, I would have become a sound guy. Yeah. Come to Los Angeles, do all that stuff, and then do my own productions that way. Because they always need a sound guy.
Oh yeah, the sound guy's also
it's not a very glamorous
usually the
job.
one you have to pay.
Yeah.
No matter what your budget is, because you can't find one.
It's not like everyone's like it's like it being in a band. Everyone wants to be the lead guitar. It's like everyone wants to be behind the camera or something.
Yeah, because you can't put together like a reel of your sound.
No.
But like if you're a DP, you might do a job for less money or free.
Yeah.
Because you'll get to have a lot of influence over how something looks.
Yeah, it's like being a bass player.
And I could probably it got to the point where I either was going to have to move forward and get all my own gear and do all that, and I was like, I don't really want to get that deep into it. But looking back, it would have been a good thing to keep up with for sure.
Be in the union. So a sound mixer you're basically taking once the thing's been shot, then you're mixing the sound
No,
you're actually on the set setting up the technical stuff.
Yeah, so there's two types of sound mixing. There's like the on-set live stuff.
Yeah.
Where in reality shows, you're miking up everyone who's going to be on camera, and all their mics come back to your mixer, and you're sending that audio to the camera, or at least that's how you did it back when I was doing it. Now everything's recorded internally on the mixer itself, and it's synced up via time code with the cameras, and then there's usually I forget what they're called, not DMT, that's the drug, but the person who's in charge of all the media, on a shoot.
So you're doing all this, but then you're still doing stand-up, right?
I did. My friends and I started this stand-up show called the Comedy Car Hole, which was in a garage in Santa Monica. And so we would do that once a month, and that got pretty big. And so I started doing more stand-up via that, and then that ended in 2012. I think we did it from 2003 to 2012.
Oh, really?
So it's a pretty long run. And then...
Car garage in Santa Monica.
Yeah, Comedy Car Hole. And I did it for a couple years after that as well, and then stopped.
Stand-up's like, you got to be all in.
Yeah, you have to be all in, and there's people that I could see were all in, who were funny and good, but they were doing I'm going to this open mic, then I'm going to this open mic, then I'm doing a show here, and then I'm like, oh my God, is this what I have to do?
Yeah, you need like a dad who's a doctor.
That's right.
Yeah, you need, because that's what's so annoying when you know the backstory. A lot of these people, you're like, it would be tough.
Right.
But really, you just could hang out in New York for 5 years doing stand-up. You went to San Francisco for a while. But it's kind of funny.
I was sort of back. So people would do stand-up to try and get jobs, like writing jobs and stuff. But I was doing writing jobs and then wanting to do stand-up. And people would be like, you have a job? How do you get one of those?
Yeah, that's not
so
easy.
I did it backwards. Like, you start as an intern and a PA, and then you just continue working with the same people you've worked with for a long time. But yeah, it was kind of backwards. But I enjoy stand-up, and I could see myself getting back into it at some point.
If there's ever a world again of live performing.
Yeah, because I do like performing, like acting and stand-up for sure.
I do too. I miss doing the performing of doing stand-up. I just didn't the hustle of hanging out, like, and you got to hang out in those environments every single night. I got sober, and then my stand-up got really awesome.
Yeah.
But I hadn't done like a lot of the work I needed to do, so I was so uncomfortable hanging out. And like those are pretty tough hangs.
I agree.
When you're sober, when you're not. When I was drinking and smoking and just carrying on, it was like fucking awesome.
Yeah, because
you have something to do.
Drinking and smoking is like the on switch. You don't have to turn it on sober, which is a lot more difficult, I find.
Well, I wouldn't perform. I wouldn't drink before I performed.
Oh wow,
I did that.
Good.
I wanted to be sober. One time I went up at the Improv. I got to a place at the Improv where if I was hanging out and someone didn't show up, they'd put me up.
Okay.
And so, and one night though I had been drinking, and then they put me up, and I did well. I killed, and then Rita was like, "Thank you. How'd it go?" And I was like, "It was great." I'm pretty hammered though, and she was like, "You went on my stage." Hammered. I mean, this is back when it was like the Improv was like it was like the toughest stage in the world that and I had performed there, and I destroyed so hard one night when I first started, and she took me upstairs, and she was like going on about what a wonderful future I was gonna have. It didn't seem to happen, but now I'm here at this and an apartment turned into a fucking like porn set.
I was getting pretty hammered, pretty much every time.
Yeah, so that was a bad moment. That was like it kind of I didn't get those opportunities. I didn't realize it was like the whole hustle of, because a lot of those people that are doing it that have become huge or very professional. I mean, they obviously had their shit together. I was just a drunken idiot that was like, I can get discounts on drinks.
Yeah. I never approached it professionally, for sure. And I have a hard time doing that with anything of my own. You know what I mean?
If you're working for something else, you can get into...
if I'm working for someone else, I'm totally down with the deadlines. I'm down with showing up on time and doing the work. And but if it's for me, it's like,
what do you think happened?
How do you do that though?
I do all my stuff is I make the whatever I'm working on, like if I'm doing like my next song or whatever video, I make that the boss. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with me, and I'm just working for it. Because I can't, myself in the equation is like...
Yeah.
But the one thing I liked about stand-up was it was a fight, and I had such a low self-esteem as it is when I was like not sober, that it was like a battle that my whole life depended on that performance.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I worked on it really hard. I would do like all the, writing and perform, and it was good. I loved it. But it was funny. Like I remember one time I was at the Comedy Store, and I could have like a drink or two, and I kept getting bumped by all these like Chris Rock shows up. You just keep it in the main room, and I ended up being hammered.
It'd be funny if you just kept getting bumped for worse and worse.
Yeah, the shittier.
Hey, this homeless guy just
exactly
just told a joke outside, and it killed. So we're gonna put him up.
And I ate shit. I just totally fucking. It was not. Yeah. It was brutal. There was like you can't follow. How do you follow? Like, all these like legends come in, and you're like, okay, there's Chris Rock. Here comes this fucking drunk guy that doesn't even know where he is. I mean, I'm doing my thing, and it was just brutal. And I remember I left the stage, and I was like, I should just become a porn actor. Like, I was never gonna do stand up again. I'm damn close. I'm about 2 inches short from being a real serious, legit porn actor. No, but I had that. I was like a dead serious thought. And I remember I went over across the street to the Sky Bar, and I was continuing my drinking, and I was like, I was going to be done with it because I had one bad set. Like that level of like, it was too important.
I'm sure every comic goes through that like immediate self-loathing after a bad set.
Yep.
For sure.
And then towards the end, my last time I did a stand-up show, I had this shitty room at the Ramada Inn, and it was in the basement. And I would. This is before the internet was a whole thing. I think it still went on.
On Vermont?
Yeah, it probably still went on for a long time. It was Henry Phillips.
Yeah.
And then I took it over, and I was on Monday night, and it became really big. And then I had a girl, Abby Robertson. I got her to book it after all, because I had people showing up with tapes and stuff, and I was just trying to get like legitimate comics at credits. So I'd go upstairs and beg hotel guests to come down to see fucking the biggest comedy guys doing stuff. It was really funny. So I get these people have no idea what's going on. So it was fun, but it was a great place for me to get develop an act. To do like an hour set.
Yeah.
I would put all these great comics up before, and then I would just go on or whatever. And I'd just get totally hammered. It's like in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. And then the last time I did it, I was like, it became work, and I was sober, and I was like, I'm sitting it was so pathetic, like in a lobby trying to get people to come down.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. All that stuff is so hard for me to network or to ask people to do something for me, or like really be doing me a favor if you came and sat in.
It's just traveling all around the country doing stand-up at different places and stuff, getting to the point where I was going to become a feature comic. And then I just realized how pathetic of a life it is. So you got to go there with T-shirts. Now I'm selling fucking CD. But this is before the internet.
Yeah.
Then of course I stopped doing stand-up, and I got lost in working in the world of recovery. So I became held hostage to people. I couldn't do anything. I was making so much money that I just stopped doing stand-up.
Which is weird, yeah.
Yeah, being held hostage with a lunatic. And then stand-up, it was just kind of, then the internet became this fucking massive thing. It was the biggest comedy boom ever.
The internet got big?
Stand-up did. Well, the way that you could get people out to see a show and stuff.
Yeah,
and so they became this. So I was doing it the worst period ever. It was you should be on a reality show. I'm like,
right.
That's when I was doing stand-up.
Yeah, I feel
terrible. 98 through about 2007, 2008, I think that's when and then I just focused on doing the crazy songs and videos.
But I feel like it would have been in some ways easier to break through during that time as opposed to now.
I don't even
where there's
know
a
now.
saturation.
There's too many comics, right?
Too many comics and just too much content. There's just so much content out there, and there's, if you do stand up, what do you do along with it? Do you have to have a podcast? Do you have to have a YouTube channel, a TikTok? I have no idea what people are looking for. I think because I would work on shows where they would want to get guests on the show. I worked on this show called Deal With It, which was hosted by Theo Vaughn and produced by Howie Mandel. And they would want guests on this show, and the network would approve these guests based solely on how many followers they had on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter. Just because they're hoping that person will promote the show on their social media.
Well, if you have a hustle, if you have some kind of hustle, and then they don't have an act. But no, if I would have stuck with it, I would have been fine. I would have had a nice life but at the time, I just didn't. I moved to Hollywood to play characters in films, just to be a character. And I was really into doing these songs and videos. I got kind of bored with doing stand-up, and then the lifestyle didn't really work because I hadn't really done all the work being sober. So I was just so uncomfortable in my own skin that I just wanted to do something a little bit more. I don't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of, I kind of regret it. I would drive, I'd seen all my friends, people used to stand up and become these huge stars. And it got a lot easier, obviously. It was getting easier. I was getting opportunities, paid gigs and stuff, but I didn't have representation guiding me. This is what you need to do. This is is what you're doing here. There wasn't a game plan.
Montreal or whatever.
I was just having people tell me that you're, oh my God, this is great. You're great. I just had a lot of this stuff, but nothing was I'd book some commercials here and there. I'd get weird opportunities, but it was also desperate. It's all fucking, this whole city, this whole thing is so desperate. It's so pathetic.
Yeah.
And
that's something I think about a lot too. It's can I be doing this same thing for like 20 more years? What will I have to show for it? Certainly not money.
Yeah, doing the same, like I'd see some of my friends that they're doing the same act for like 10 years, same bits, same material. There's one friend who's become very successful. I kind of had several things that happened that made me think like I'm not, because I was told like the audience that would travel 2 miles to see you. This is back in the day.
Yeah,
was like if you're doing like urban humor, like redneck humor, or Latino, and you have like a fan base. These people that will travel, they'll come see you. And I was told I was doing like alternative, intelligent humor, which was funny because I was like the dumbest person I knew. So the fact that someone would say that to me was pretty funny. So I just thought like the audience for what I was doing was too small. Mm-hmm. Like I remember I did a set in San Francisco at the Punchline, and it went really well. And I remember Al Magical set me up there to do a guest spot, and I fucking destroyed. And she called down there, and he called me and was like, "Dude, I don't know what the hell you did up there, but she's, And then I was like gonna perform. I was gonna go to Sacramento, and I was gonna say, "Could I do a guest spot?" And she's like, "Well, I think your humor is too alternative for the audience." And then the following week, I go to Omaha. I got to do a guest spot through the booker for the Improv. I fucking destroy. They love me, and they said I could come in, not just do a guest spot. They go, you can do spots every day you're here, so you can do 15 minutes. I'm literally signing autographs, getting photos with people, but I'm too alternative for Sacramento. Yeah. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. So there's all this stuff that was just all the politics, all of it. I know.
There's a lot to navigate.
Yeah, and I was newly sober, so I was too in my head about stuff and didn't understand things, and I just didn't get a lot of things, which I don't anyway in life.
Right. Yeah.
I have people come on podcasts now, and I just interview myself.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not very good at navigating or knowing what the right next action is as far as my career goes.
It's a business of show. You got to be hustling something.
I know.
You got to be like the sham wow guy, but you're doing stand up. You're also selling a product. You got to get your TikToks down. You got to get out there, man.
Yeah.
You got to upload more stuff.
I'll have ideas that get to the point of like, yeah, I should really do that. And then the next day, like, I'm not doing that.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, I get totally obsessed with something, and then
I know. You're good about that.
I fully commit.
You're good at making the job the boss, as you said.
That's what you got to do. Yeah. I got nothing else. I got nothing. I was just trying to make a great video. And it's work, so I get jobs from that.
Right.
And that was my little path.
Yeah. Maybe I should just continue making.
Well, you made a short film.
I made a short film. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that was fun. Got into some good horror festivals. It's called The Listening. You could watch it on Scream Fest's YouTube channel.
I'll make a horror film with you. I mean, look at this.
Yeah,
I am a horror film.
I'm terrified.
You look at me and you just know that there's something's not right going on here. What the hell? That was the goal. I was in this movie Frankenstein, and I was hoping to God it would become a thing where it would become successful enough that I could go to those horror film conventions.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be the greatest thing ever.
Towards the very end of my drinking and using days in 2015, I was in this movie called Buzzard Hollow Beef.
Nice.
Which you could watch on Amazon. It's this indie horror movie that was made for probably like $50,000 or something. We shot it up in Washington, and they entered it into a bunch of festivals, and I got nominated for Best Actor at the Edmonton Festival of Fear.
Nice.
And
you're like, I've arrived.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to Edmonton because I knew that if I showed up, they would kind of have to give me the award.
He came a long ways. He came from Los Angeles.
Yeah, so that's what
He's a Hollywood actor.
But the name of the award is the Corey Feldman Award of Excellence. So I have a plaque that says the Corey Feldman Award of Excellence for Best Actor.
You have killed Hollywood. That's like the greatest thing ever. Do you have that thing framed? Do you have it like in like its own case?
It's just like a plaque itself. So I have it like near my front door, so people have to see it.
You should make a whole entire thing to present that as if like a shrine for it.
I know.
I had a friend one night. I think she was doing a podcast. She was doing something, and she goes, "Hey, do you want to go over to Corey Feldman's house with me?" I'm like, hell yeah. Of course I want to go over to Corey Feldman's house. It was like a football party or whatever, and it was really strange. The whole thing was strange. Yeah,
he doesn't seem like.
No, there were like families and stuff there. I didn't know what was going on, but they had like a conversation. He was a nice guy.
Yeah,
and this was, I think he was just doing like we had the band and the music and the angels and stuff. I can't remember if he had done the dance routine that was like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life on the morning show.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, so good. It's so good.
Yeah, so it's pretty much all downhill from there.
What are you talking about? This is like, dude, you should get cast and everything. I would show up and audition with the fucking award.
I know, I've thought of that. I did show it to one director during a callback that was over Zoom.
Yeah.
He's like, because sometimes they'll ask you to like, hey, show me something in your place or whatever. And so I had that handy to show.
Damn, cast right there.
Yeah, but I didn't get the...
Dude, I would fucking I would carry that thing to auditions and just say it's my lucky... whatever. It's like it's my good luck charm.
Yeah.
Put
it on my keychain.
Yeah.
Make a keychain out of it. Sure.
Take that on first dates.
Yeah.
You do it on your like a dating profile.
Oh, I didn't realize I put this in the picnic basket. Weird. Yeah. Anyway, here's this.
And if you realize the talent level you're dealing with right here, how did they name it after him?
I think they had approached him to be in one of their horror movies, and then they somehow ended up licensing his name for it. Or like he agreed to it for like a 3-year period to have his name put on all the awards.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that was a moment, right?
It was really interesting, and it was fun.
So you went to you went there and then you won, and did you come on stage? Was there like a thing or?
It was like a half full theater, and I went up there and after the movie played, I went up and answered some questions, but then there was an awards ceremony.
Did some people that were really impressed? Did they get a photo with you?
Yeah.
Did you get to sign some autographs?
A few, yeah, but I think
at that point you're like, did you say to them like, do you realize?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I had those experiences. I was like, I know this is fun, this is cute, but I got nothing going on here.
No, I would say that, and I remember they were all very nice. This is Edmonton, Canada,
Yeah. They're like, this is what we're supposed to do. And we're supposed to get an autograph, right? You're in a movie.
Yeah, they're like, we want to take your picture. We thought you did a really nice job. And I'm like...
Because this is an event. You were on the big screen.
I remember...
You won the goddamn Corey Feldman Award.
Someone said, I know you're not famous, but who knows?
That's right.
Maybe one day...
That's right. You could cast on something, and they had like, this is their moment. Like I met the Corey Feldman, Excellence Award-winning.
That's right.
I didn't know you had this level of depth of like having that kind of an award thing just in your back pocket.
I should have brought it.
Fucking hell
knowing
yeah.
that this is video.
This is you're on camera.
I have a picture of it. I'll pull it up. Show you afterwards.
Thank God. That'll be your phone, like your screensaver on your caller ID. Put that. I'll have that on there.
I should put it in more of my dating profiles.
Dude, I should be your midlife crisis coach. I could help you with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you need that on the profile. You need a picture of you like holding that award.
Well, I want to try and find like a manager or someone who will. Like, I just audition for commercials now, so I want to audition for things that aren't commercials as well.
That's nice.
So I should take that award.
Yeah. Just say, I don't know what the fuck we're doing with this commercial bullshit. Why even asking me to show up here? You just tell me my call time. I told that to my agent, my commercial agent. I'm like, what's the deal with these auditions?
Yeah.
If they want to see me, just tell me my call time. I went through some. I mean, I'm out of my mind. So I went through a phase where I had a commercial agent. I crashed an audition when I first moved out here, and I got put on hold for a commercial. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I got a commercial agent. And then I booked like the first thing I auditioned for, and I got Taft-Hartley.
Yeah.
I was so hungover. It was, like, what's that comedian, Jane? She's so funny. She was on like one of those dancing shows. She was like the host. I think she's a lesbian lady. She's
Jane Lynch.
Yes, she's fucking hilarious. So me and her were just bantering back and forth. She's so funny. And I was in a SureTrade.com commercial.
Nice.
Yeah, got Taft-Hartley. And then that was so fun. I used to call my agent at Talent Group, and I would, if she didn't answer the phone, I knew that she was like in the cafeteria, so they'd have to do like a conference call. And this is Talent Group, which at the time was like the biggest commercial agency. And I would call, be like, it's Ron Jeremy. Like, it's Ron Jeremy, return her phone call.
Nice. Convicted rapist.
Well, yeah, now he
Ron
is.
Jeremy.
God damn this. I saw him at the bank.
Raping a person?
Well, he was with some lady, and he looked not good.
Yeah.
He looked fucking...
Yeah, he hasn't looked good in years.
Horrifying. Like, he's looked bad, but he looked bad.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, dude.
That's what horrible crimes will do to you.
I saw him on Sunset one night, and he was making out with, like, looked like when Janice Dickinson would talk about how she was a supermodel. I mean, this girl looked like, I mean, very attractive. And I was like, wow, this guy's making it happen. Maybe she didn't know it was happening. Maybe he was raping her right there in front of me. I didn't even know it. But she seemed into it. But I was like, that's what Los Angeles is so great, because you see absurdity on like if you're out and about in the world.
For sure.
Did you ever
Especially
have moments?
in this neighborhood?
Yeah.
And Hollywood in general. Yeah.
Did you have some Hollywood moments when you first moved out here?
Well, I remember, so in college, my roommate Kip that we were talking about earlier, we started this fake religion based around Dabney Coleman. And my very first day as an intern on the Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn, Dabney Coleman was the guest.
As that makes sense. The computer simulation just puts it together.
It was so weird. I also remember you see a lot of celebrities at, a talk show, but you can't like act starstruck. And I'm not one to get starstruck anyway. The one time I got really starstruck was when Siskel and Ebert. Oh. No, it must have just been Ebert at the time.
That did it for you.
Yeah, Ebert did it for me. It's like, oh my God, it's Ebert. But no, I haven't.
Like if you saw Steven Seagal, you wouldn't be like, holy shit.
Well, yeah, I would now because he's so fat. The one like Hollywood, not even Hollywood, but weird thing, talk show worthy moment would be when I was at lunch. I worked on the show called How We Do It with Howie Mandel. And we were at lunch one day. It was me, Howie, and Kyle Dunnigan, I think. And,
love Kyle.
And I was drinking a beer, and he was drinking an iced tea, and my beer was like an amber beer or something. So it had the same hue as the iced tea. And he kept picking up my beer and like taking it to his mouth, and then like he would start to tell his story and then set it back down. And I thought he was
Howie Mandel was doing this?
Yeah. And I thought he was doing a bit where he was taking my drink. Yeah, because he's a germaphobe. So I thought he was doing a bit where he was taking my drink and almost drinking it and then setting it back down, and then almost drinking it and then setting it back down. But he honestly thought it was his drink, and then he eventually did take a drink. He's like, oh no. And
he's like a sober guy, right? Is he sober or something?
No, he's not sober. I don't think so. Like,
I don't know.
Not in the same way you and I are, but he doesn't drink that much. But he took a sip of it. He's like, oh boy. He's like, this is good for me. This is good for me. I have to make it through things like this, you know,
because he knew it was someone else's drink.
Yeah.
And now he felt like, how does this guy have like a sexual relationship with like a?
Well, he's been married to the same woman for a super long time.
So that
since he was like 20 something, early 20s.
If you're that freaked out, like what would be like how would you? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he licks foreheads or whatever you're into, Jeff.
It's because I have a big forehead. I'm into licking them.
No, but he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy. I met him once briefly. It seems really nice.
Yeah.
He used to do the thing where he puts the thing over his head. What was it?
The glove, yeah.
The glove. And yeah, I see him in Vegas. I used to help produce a show there, so I'd see him there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think he had a Vegas show.
He did?
Yeah.
He did have a Vegas show at one time?
I don't know where he was performing there. I don't know. I don't even anymore. I don't remember. I have early onset dementia.
That is something to be scared of.
Is that a real thing?
It is a real thing because there's a friend of our family's has it.
It's called early onset dementia.
It's called early onset Alzheimer's.
Oh God, I don't want that.
And also, I know about it because there was a Law and Order episode where someone had it.
Oh,
I think they was murdering and forgetting.
That's if you were a serial killer, that would probably work out if you had Alzheimer's. Well, maybe not because then you would.
Yeah,
then you got
murder,
busted.
You'd be like, oh my God.
then if you got busted, and then you're like, what are you talking about? You just keep learning over and over again. I did what?
Yeah, man, I'm a dick.
Terrible. It's terrible. So now you've been to Hollywood. You've worked on all these jobs. You've acted. You've wrote. You've directed. You've done stand up, and then now Special Olympics.
No, now, well, just like a lot of people this year, things have slowed way down.
Yeah, it's been really ridiculous.
The show I was on, Prank Encounters on Netflix, we were midway through shooting season 2 when we got shut down in mid-March, and that was in Atlanta, and we came back here. They went back and shot a couple more episodes, but I didn't go back for that because at the time I was very scared of COVID because I've had some lung issues in the past, and I did not want COVID.
Yeah, I had it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I had it.
I know. Yeah.
I thought I was 2 days like, I'm going to die. And all I did was I just ate ice cream, chocolate chip cookies, pizza. I just figured I'm done. I gained like 20 pounds. It was like, that's how sad my life is. Just going to eat a bunch of food and then that's it.
Those are the wrong foods to eat for like
of course.
Congestion.
Yeah, I was eating everything wrong. I didn't care. I was like, this is it. Done.
Yeah.
But I survived it. Now I'm like Donald Trump. I'm super immune.
Yeah.
He said that. He was like, I could go out there and kiss someone right in the mouth.
It was so clear he was hopped up on steroids.
Yeah, give me whatever that guy was taking. So if you could work on any show, if you were going to write on a show, what would it be?
Oh.
What type of show?
Well, I would like to write on an animated show, I think. I like the freedom of animation.
You can push the envelope, it seems like, a lot more.
But also, I'll just take any old job, writing job. This is weird. So I was just like Googling creative writing jobs, and this job popped up it said science fiction feature writer, and it was for a Beijing company.
Perfect.
And so I sent them an email with my resume and everything, and then I got something back today. Like,
wait, on your resume, did you have the Corey Feldman Award?
I do.
Thank God. That's a fucking shoe-in right there. Is it highlighted in bold?
Let me look. I have it in my phone.
So, okay, you sent it over there, and they saw that, and they're like, fucking get this guy in here pronto.
Yeah, they must have seen that, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna bring this guy in to fix everything.
Oh, they already have the script. They need someone to come in and clean it up.
That's what it sounds like. But it sounds like they're just pumping out like content that will be made in China for the Chinese.
All you got to do is take bad American movies and just basically, you got to do like the Chinese people do, just plagiarize the whole damn thing. You just take a script and then change the names on it.
Well, that's what everyone does in regular American movies too. I think
if we just read the script, it was really good. We'll just change it around a little bit.
Oh yeah, see, I should have it highlighted more. I just have Best Actor here on my resume.
No, the Corey Feldman Award of Excellence. Fuck, I want to just add that on my thing just because it's good. That's what you got to fake it till you make it. Maybe I add that to my Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna check on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I need to have a more updated.
So you're hoping that this could work out. You could be the guy that comes in and cleans up the scripts, or you're doing original ones for
I have
him?
no idea.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just gonna
go to Beijing.
Meet with them over Zoom.
Oh, this is great.
And then
would you go to Beijing?
No.
No way in hell.
No, I don't think. I mean, I would, not for forever, unless I meet a nice lady over there in Beijing.
There you go.
And then I would move.
Would you like? Are you looking to get like in a nice serious relationship?
Nice Beijing lady.
A Beijing lady that would do it.
I always think I want a relationship, and then I go on one date and I'm like, ugh.
Realize I want to be able to get out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, one more date and I'm in this for life.
That's the difficult thing about the online dating is I would meet someone and I would be so busy doing like being held hostage to sober companion that I would just end up getting to know them too well, like messaging and sometimes talking on the phone. And then I would go meet them and I was not attracted to them at all. And I felt like I was just going to break up with people.
Yeah.
Like, they kept, and I was like, I can't do this
that totally makes
this dating thing. And
right. I definitely have better luck with people I meet in real life.
Yeah.
And people who I interact with when I'm not trying to like sell myself, I guess, which I shouldn't be doing on dates anyway.
No, you just have to show them the fucking award casually.
Yeah. I should just like get it sewn into a jacket, the back of a jacket.
Yeah, somehow it has to be like that. They call it the humble brag, where somehow it just falls out. You know, I haven't figured that game out yet.
Yeah, maybe I should just.
Well, no way. If like the young people, you just gotta tell people you're the fucking greatest. That's where it's at.
Do you find also though that young people, compared to, I guess, our generation, are so much nicer to their peers, or
more into yeah,
they're like, you got to check out this guy's art, it's the best, you know, like
they're very supportive.
They're very supportive in a way, but I guess maybe they just have mechanisms for support that we didn't have. But I also feel they're less cynical than our age group. Even though I don't feel cynical, I feel skeptical.
I went with a friend of mine, took me to a stand-up show, and younger people, and a couple of the comics were really funny, and some were like unbelievably awful.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how supportive the audience was, just laughing, and I was like, what's going on here?
Right.
Things have changed.
Yeah. Or maybe, that's just a good audience. But
I don't know. Maybe I didn't know. Maybe that was a one-off situation.
Right.
But I just kind of felt there was more of like, we're here to participate. You know, we're going to participate and cheer you on, even though, which is not good. You're basically rewarding. We're rewarding mediocrity.
Oh, for sure.
And this is not good. We are celebrating. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on.
If you're a stand-up comedian, the key to being successful is just to do it all the time, no matter how good you are.
Yeah, and actually the worse you are, probably the better you have at opportunities making it happen. If you're just so terrible, that might be the future of comedy.
Yeah, sure.
Like it's just you're going on about how awful your life situation. You have to be a victim. That's another thing. You got to be some sort of victimized situation.
Like, what's an example?
Well, you can't you can't come from a place of like extreme privilege.
What are you talking about? Like so many comedians do.
No, but your whole act needs to be about how you're just this complete oppressed victim.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
You don't think if you're starting out doing stand-up?
I don't know. I don't know what the scene is like, but the people you see that are successful aren't talking about that kind of stuff.
About being somehow their life is tragic?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to fit in. I'm trying to fit into the young people. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, I have no idea, I guess. I guess I'm not as in tune as I thought I may have been.
I don't know. I just figured that was where it's at. You got to be very unique and very different, and you got to be an activist about something, right?
Well, I think you just have to speak from a true place.
You got to be authentic.
Yeah, you have to be authentic, and like people get really attached to ideas that come from your real life.
Yeah.
And so you just have to like lie. About like
no, you just have to live a tragic life, so then you can report.
Right. Like
you embellish it a little bit.
Yeah, you embellish it like, oh, my mother-in-law is staying with me, and then you
can't be good.
Have a whole, sitcom with your mother-in-law or whatever.
Because she's like,
But it just has to come from a real place. Like, oh, I used to work at an office. I had an office job. And then you pitch the office.
The office, yeah, the job that's already been successful. Okay, so if people want to follow you and discover you, because you have a podcast, right?
I have this great podcast, guys.
Yes.
The audience.
Yeah.
Called The One Star Podcast with Scott and Jeff, hosted by Kip and Doug.
That's great.
And we review 1-star reviews. And we hope that you give us a 1-star review.
I love this. So you go listen to 1-star reviewed podcast?
No. We look up reviews on Yelp or TripAdvisor or Google and read them to each other.
Like the comments about what happened?
People on you could look up Yelp reviews for the Grand Canyon National Park.
Yes.
And there's some people who aren't fans of the Grand Canyon.
And they'll let you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this.
And they think their opinion is worth a damn.
That's what's going on. Everyone thinks that like I grew up like I'm stupid. I shouldn't be talking, and you don't matter. And like now the young people are like, you need to hear my opinion.
Well, I think the world is an out of control place, and it feels more chaotic than ever because people are seeing a lot, they're just fed content and information all day long, and they seek it out as well. And they're trying to wrest or wring a little bit of control over the entire situation. And the best they can come up with is writing a review for a restaurant they went to where the waiter wasn't so nice to them.
I will show them.
Yeah, I think they're lonely. They're looking for connection. They're looking for a little bit of control.
Well, you know what there was like when we were kids, you don't want to be a snitch. You don't want to be a tattletale.
Yeah.
And I think that's the opposite now. It's like it kind of is. There's a culture of you must be a tattletale. You need to find something to like.
Right.
Like it's like we're in the communist world where you need to rat out your neighbor, and you're gonna get rewarded.
Yeah, it's weird. I would never want to get anyone fired.
That's what's so weird. Like I don't understand that either. Like
Yeah.
it's so unbelievable.
And if I have a bad experience somewhere, I just make a mental note like, oh, maybe I won't go back to that place.
Yeah.
I don't have the anger within me to
want to
sit
destroy
down
their entire life.
Yeah. Right.
You should be destitute forever because you were having a bad day and I didn't like the way you looked at me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll have you on.
Yeah.
You have to look up some 1-star reviews and then come read them.
Oh, that would be an honor. I'll actually write some 1-star reviews.
Yeah, we've had some people who have read their own 1-star reviews.
That's terrible.
Places.
I give great reviews. I gave a review for the Proper Barbershop, and dude, my picture is now on the Yelp review. I uploaded a photo talking about how great Cole was at the haircut. Dude, it was fun. And then they sent it to me that I made it. Like I've arrived, my friend.
That's great.
Yeah,
I should do that too.
Not to show off and be a bragger, but yeah, I'm killing it.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah,
leave
you need
some 5-star reviews.
I try to because I know it's important. That's why, folks, if you're listening to this, you need to on Apple and leave a 5-star review and write rate it 5 and give a nice review. Actually, some of them are pretty funny.
It's called the Jeff Hilliard podcast
show. The Jeff Hilliard show.
Hilliard show.
Yeah.
The logo looks like the letters are having sex.
That's the idea.
Is that intentional?
A J and an H.
Yeah.
Small lowercase because I don't. And it's kind of a phallic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
cool.
When I was doing my jumpsuit line, there was talks of me actually making a real jumpsuit line. I was trying to figure out how I would do it, and I'd make a logo, and if I was a real designer.
There were talks.
There was talks. Well, I did a line of jumpsuits as a joke, and I had people ordering them and buying them, and I had someone that was going to give me $100,000. This is amazing. He would get coked up out of his mind. I didn't know this. Rich guy. I saw him on Sunset in his Bentley, and he was like, dude, how are the jumpsuit sales going? And I'm like, well, I kind of did it as a joke to try to get work as a director to do commercials. And he's like, oh, those are great, though. You should, sell them. He's like, what if I give you $100,000? And I was like, okay. And I was I had put together a business plan. I worked on all this. This is before the jumpsuits became anything. And so people just laughed in my face. Like, you're going to try to bring back the jumpsuit? Like, it was pretty funny. So
do you think that's a fear of success? When you know something could be fruitful and you just stop doing it?
No, I went down the road. Yeah. I did the whole thing. And I thought about it, but it was like I was getting more work as an actor. And I was like, how much? Because it's a big time commitment. I would have done it if I could have got a business partner that was like knew the fashion world. Because I was investigating. I spent a lot of time on the phone with people. I was meeting all sorts of people in that world. And I wasn't like, it was a joke. It wasn't like I was like I need to get everybody in a jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I would love to do the commercials. I like coming up with like characters and doing stuff, but I didn't know if I want to spend the rest of my life focused on. I don't know. If I would have had the infrastructure or like a business part, I could do that. It would be fun just to do the ad campaigns. Would be hilarious to do like commercials for men and women jumpsuits. So actually, I have there's a friend of mine and another friend. They're trying to make it happen.
All right.
We'll see. I don't. We're in a small scale. So maybe the world I'll take over the world with jumpsuits.
We'll see. Yeah. They're big in prisons.
Yeah. Well, it's an outfit that is. It's like an action outfit. Like you could be a NASCAR rider, like you race daredevil, astronaut. From a janitor. It has a wide range to rock stars.
Right.
When I was born in '72, this is when David Bowie was doing Ziggy Stardust. All of these rocks, Elvis Presley. This was the peak of jumpsuit. Mm-hmm. So that's when I was conceived and born. So it was like, so
it's in your DNA.
Yeah. And then David Bowie had a mullet, so it makes sense. You know what I mean? I got the long and the short. Then I have the jumpsuit, which there's no separation from, like, let's say that the top is the future and the bottom is the past. Right. And the jumpsuit just helps you jump into the now.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, I had all sorts of like philosophy behind the jumpsuit. I wrote a television pilot about it.
I read it, I think.
You did. That's right.
Yeah.
I've been now writing into as a low budget feature film, which is pretty good. It's pretty insane. That's what I want to do. I want to make these. I'm trying to become. My niche is white exploitation. I'm a white exploitation actor, but I want to be a white exploitation filmmaker. Because all my characters are pathetic white people. Like, you're laughing at. I'm exploiting the white
trash.
Yeah. They're not trash. They're all they're all flawed people. That's what I came to Hollywood to do. So you got to figure out your niche.
Right.
Your niche. I don't know. And one thing, I don't pronounce words correctly anymore. So it's
niche,
whatever needs to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, you've made it. So we've done a great job here.
Good job.
Yeah.
Listeners.
Anything you'd like to tell the audience?
Not really.
My micro influence. They gotta follow you. Do you have your social media?
Dr. Doug on Twitter and Doug O. Perkins on Instagram. Yes. But I don't really do much on those.
I'll have it linked on the YouTube underneath.
Yeah.
You guys did another great show. Thank you so much. I tell them they have a multi-level network marketing opportunity. They got to tell 5 of their friends to listen to the show, and then they got to tell 5 of their friends.
Yeah, we have a saying on our podcast, if you like the show, tell 1,000 people about it.
Spend the rest of your life telling every single person you meet. Grab their phone, go on the Apple thing, open it up and subscribe to it, and then rate and review it right there, and then give them their phone back.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Can you imagine? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.